It's 2 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm Belinda De Lasheras with 2NURFM Hunter News. Labor is promising to spend $303 million if it wins the state election. Some of the money will go towards detailed planning and design work on the Singleton Bypass and more widening work on Nelson Bay Road, as well as the first 7 projects to ease road pinch points announced by the Baird government. Shadow Roads Minister Michael Daly says the funding isn't dependent on the long-term lease of the state's electricity poles and wires network.
We've got a fully funded and fully costed $10 billion plan that we announced about a month ago. It comes from the deferral of some small business taxes that were supposed to be relinquished starting from 2016. We'll keep those $500 million a year revenue streams and we'll put them to work building infrastructure in New South Wales and in places like the Hunter.
The Awabakal Local Aboriginal Land Council has today put the Coalition's transport plans on the tracks, launching an appeal against the state government's record time refusal of its land claim over the Newcastle rail line. The Baird government took little more than a month to reject the claim last week, ignoring the discovery of around 5,700 Aboriginal artefacts and bones dating back 6,000 years under the Palais KFC site. But Awabakal Deputy Chair Richard Green says they already have a precedent for land entitlement in Newcastle.
You go back to the post office. We've had it for just over a year. Now, they left it in a mess. I mean in a mess. There's rodents, there's mice, there's pigeons, there's all bait in there, you know, and now they just give it to us and expect us to clean it out.
Meanwhile, Hunter lobbyists are calling on the Premier to plan Newcastle's public transport future thoroughly, following a parliamentary inquiry's recommendation all train services be reinstated. The Liberals have outlined a political commitment to transport in regional New South Wales, but the Keep the Hunter on Track group says our region has been left behind. Spokesperson David Blythe says there's no reason why train services can't resume.
There's no reason why we can't improve the look at the corridor, get some crossings over it so that we can have both connectivity to the harbour and to the beach, and that's what we want, proper connectivity, not the phony stuff that's been blabbed about recently.
Detectives have charged a 4th man in relation to the murder of Jacob Munro, whose body was found in a bush grave at Bulahdelah last year. The 24-year-old was reported missing from Schofields in July before Strike Force Zeon officers located his remains in a makeshift bush grave at the Bulahdelah State Forest 5 months later. A 21 and 25-year-old man have been charged with murder, while a 68-year-old male is accused of being an accessory after the fact. A 62-year-old man was charged with murder on Friday while facing court on a separate matter. He's been refused bail to front court again on March 29. A re-elected Baird government is promising a $400 million boost to 2 education programs, with several schools in the Hunter to benefit. East Mayfield Public School will receive an extra $160,000 to allow the school to engage more counsellors and school support staff to help implement programs to improve student behaviour. Education Minister Adrian Piccoli says it's about boosting learning outcomes at state schools.
Every child is impacted by poor behaviour, not just those who are doing the wrong thing, but that vast majority of kids who come to school every day and behave beautifully do get impacted by bad behaviour in classrooms. So the behaviour things we're doing, the student counselling or the wellbeing things we're doing, all targeted at making sure we get better results out of our students.
The Baird government is promising to take the fight to litter in Newcastle if the Coalition wins office at the March 28 polls. From July 1, a series of reverse vending machines will be placed at popular parks, beaches and waterways around the city to help people better dispose of cans and drink bottles under the government's container deposit scheme. Environment Minister Rob Stokes says he doesn't believe the scheme will have any impact on the cost of drinks.
The experience from overseas suggests that that's not the case, that in fact that there is limited impact on the price of beverages, and even if there were to be, well of course the consumer has the option, if you were to conceive of it as a tax, it's a tax you get back. If the price of drinks were to go up marginally, well you get even more than that by simply returning your cans.
In finance, the All Ords is down 33 points at 58.17 and $1 is buying 77 US cents. Updating sport, University have taken the Newcastle District Cricket Minor Premiership with an 8-wicket win over Belmont. Uni will face Stockton at No. 1 Sports Ground on Saturday, opting out of their home ground for the semi-final to get used to playing at No. 1 in case they make the final. Merewether and Hamilton Wickham are also pitted against each other in the other semi. Meanwhile, Hamilton Wickham have taken the Tom Lockett Cup, reaching the target of 101 off 25 overs to defeat Merewether by 6 wickets. The wet weather win has seen Merewether pipe up to suggest the NDCA take up the Duckworth-Lewis method of scoring as is consistent with international competition. In Rugby League, Newcastle defeated Newtown Jets 32-16 in the weekend's New South Wales Cup, and Swansea Belmont surf lifesaver Angela Ledbetter has taken her 5th consecutive 2-kilometre beach run title at the State Championships. 2NURFM News Time is coming up to 2:06.